What's up, guys? Just kidding. I don't really talk like that. It's your boy, High and Mighty, aka PGL Lavender, here to bring you guys a cute, short, sweet little guide for Pokemon Go. So I've been playing, messing around with it. It's been a lot of fun. By the way, I think there's like a Ghastly haunting my camera, which is why it looks like I'm all foggy, but we'll worry about that later. This client is specifically a guide for those level 1 to 5. However, there are some little tips and tricks and secrets in there for you guys as well. I'm also going to touch heavily on tracking. So you go into the client and it looks very similar to this. Okay, cool. So as soon as you enter, you'll have 3 Pokemon appear in front of you: Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charmander. You can choose to ignore all of them and run away from them and don't mess with them. And if you go out and walk, apparently you can find a Pikachu as your starting Pokemon. Starting Pokemon doesn't really matter that much. As soon as you get out there and start hunting, you'll start catching stuff that's higher level and stronger. But it's always nice to get that free one right off the bat. So what happens is when there's Pokemon in your area, in the lower right-hand corner, there's a little button, and that'll show the Pokemon that are nearby. For the most part, you've either seen them or caught them, but every now and then one will pop up that you haven't seen before or you haven't caught yet. Click on the icon of that Pokemon, and then the nearby Pokemon menu will go back to your regular in-game screen, and you'll see in the lower right-hand corner now it'll have an image of the outlay of that Pokemon, and it'll have little footprints by it. So if there's 3 footprints by the Pokemon in your Poke Tracker, that means that it's the furthest away from you. So what you do is you pull that up, okay? You pull the tracker up, you select the Pokemon you want to start walking for. You start walking in a direction, okay? You look on the little icon of that Pokemon. If it pulses with green, you're headed in the right direction, almost like a hot and cold. If it doesn't pulse with green, then you need to do a 180 and head the other direction. Also, if you've got an old school kind of ghetto phone like some of us, it won't always pulsate green if you're going the right direction. So you got to watch the footsteps. So there'll be the little outer lay of the Pokemon. There'll be how many steps there are. At 3 steps, it's the furthest away. When you get closer, there'll be 2, and then there'll be 1, and it'll eventually get to a point where it'll just have a silhouette of the Pokemon with no steps by it. At that point, you just kind of sit in the area. Don't walk, just kind of spin in circles with your phone until you catch them. Onward and onward. The next thing you want to do is for catching them. It's really simple. As soon as you put your finger onto the Pokeball, a giant white circle will appear around the Pokemon, and generally a green or a different colored circle will start on the inside and it'll start closing up smaller and smaller and smaller. What you want to do is get that circle, the inside circle. The outside circle will always stay the same, but as you have your fingers sitting on the Pokeball, that other inside circle will shrink and shrink and shrink. What you want to do is get it as small as possible and then try to land the ball right on that spot. You'll get a great or excellent throw. You'll get an extra 50 to 100 XP, which is 100 XP is the same as catching a new Pokemon. So if you do an excellent throw, it's like you caught 2 in 1. Next, we'll talk about Pokestops. So if you are, just pulling up your map and all of a sudden you see something in the distance that looks like this little icon, it'll look like a little box, floating box. And once you get closer, that box will transform into a big circular coin shape with an icon in the middle. You walk up to it and you spin your thumb right across the little circular coin, and the icon itself will spin and it'll pop out treats. Sometimes you can get Pokeballs, sometimes you can get eggs, sometimes you can get all kinds of fun stuff. Those reset every 5 minutes. So you can walk up to one, spin it, hang out for like 5 minutes, spin it again, and then move on, or just sit there and milk it. Pokestops that look like this one have been infused with a module lure. So that means that Pokestop is itself attracting Pokemon. When you see one of these, you want to hang out by it. That's because it's basically like someone else is burning an incense for you, which I'll touch on later. So if you see, basically it kind of looks like there's confetti falling all over it. If you see one of those, then just hang out at that Pokestop, flip every 5 minutes, and just catch whatever comes to you. So if you're about to put a module into a Pokestop, don't do that. Get a couple of your friends to come with you. Put the module in, and then you guys catch and chill and re-up the Pokestops by spinning them every 5 minutes. And then they put one in. And then your other friend, like if you go with 2 friends, you guys can stack your crystals or your lures on top of each other at the Pokestop to turn 5 minutes of catching or turn like a half hour of catching into a couple hours. Real quick, I'm going to touch on managing your Pokemon, your CP level, your base stats. The Pokemon you catch, their CP level is basically the most important. This determines how well it will do in combat. But generally, like if you've caught 100 Pidgeys, and one of those Pidgeys is a CP 90, and every other one's like a CP 20, for the most part, just send all the level 20s back to Professor Oak. You'll get an extra bonus Pidgey candy for it, which will help you evolve your stronger Pidgey later. So basically, you want to select 1 or 2 Pokemon. Each Pokemon has a stat sheet, okay, and they have special attacks that only they can do. They're different. So if you catch 2 Squirtles right next to each other, they might not necessarily know the same attacks. They might not be the same levels. They might not be the same size. So focus, like read about your Pokemon before you just ship them off to Professor Oak. If you see a lot of Rattatas, don't be mad. Just keep catching Rattatas and then turn it into a Raticate and just take the best one you have and just keep moving forward. Every random Pokemon you see, catch it because it helps you evolve your other Pokemon. Last thing I'm going to say is save your incense, save your power-ups. You want to save incense because for the most part, if you're sitting at your house and you pop it, you're going to catch the same stuff you've been catching the whole time. Whereas if you go to some random park or a beach or the mountains or something, and then you pop your incense, then you're in a new area. You'll catch different things that you would have maybe normally caught. So it's good. I would say also don't level up your Pokemon with power-ups. Save your Stardust, save your candy. You need to be focusing on evolving them, not powering them up. Final tip, once you hit level 5, pick Team Mystic. Blue team all the way. You can see me in Vegas holding down the blue gyms, because that's how I do. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want a tutorial for levels 5 to 10 and 10 to 20, so on, etc., you want more tips, you want more advice, more tricks, you need to smack that like button right now. You need to comment if you have any questions. The more you guys comment, the more you like it, the more amped I will be to continue making Pokemon Go content. So if you guys liked it, please appreciate it again, thumbs up, and we will catch you next time. Happy hunting.